I'll keep it simple here. World of Horror is good. But honestly, I've had a hard time trying to think of ways to explain it. I could say it's basically a horror manga heavily inspired by the works of Junji Ito brought to life before your own eyes, and I would be right. I could also say it's a roguelike adventure game, and I would also basically be right. I could even say this entire experience that I had with this game felt like a horror-themed D&D session, and well, it felt exactly like that. There's so many different ways to go about World of Horror, but where do I begin? World of Horror is, simply put, about a small seaside town in Japan that is now being threatened by what could be summed up as cosmic horror. Well, that's basically it. Before you begin, you're able to choose what kind of game you want to play. You're allowed to tailor your own experience. However, if you just want a hand-picked story to go off, you can do that too. There's even somewhat, if not an entirely scripted option that helps you learn the ropes of the game, which, by the way, I highly recommend playing this mode first before anything else. It's seriously helpful. Considering the multiple outcomes of what can happen in World of Horror, no two playthroughs are the same. Sure, you have a finite amount of mysteries to solve, but the manner in which they are presented to you is entirely based on procedural generation. That's what makes it feel so infinite. The recommended scripted story that I started out with was fine, but it honestly didn't grab me. It was about this scissor woman that I had to vanquish using instructions for a ritual left behind by a fellow classmate who was originally trying to finish the job. You search the school running into other demons while finding the stuff you need for the said ritual. You complete the ritual, finish off the scissor woman, done, great. But playing just that scripted mystery isn't enough to get the most out of World of Horror. The real fun began when I did my own custom story. First, the game handpicked an old god to get things going. This god is basically what causes all of this crazy shit to kick off. I got this spider that finally broke out of its webbed cage, basically, and it's ready to just fucking eat us. The main character I played as was just a simple schoolgirl. So essentially, it's this schoolgirl versus an elder god. I'm guessing you're wondering if I emerged victorious and brought my seaside Japanese town back from the brink of destruction. No. I died. You'll probably end up doing that a lot as well. Your health isn't traditional, it's basically separated into two different fields, stamina and reason. If one of these go out, you die. Game over. So instead of having to manage just one pool of health, you need to keep your eyes on both. Both pools are affected in different ways as well, which just makes this game so much fun. Enemies can instill curses on you which affect your two different pools, and you can get tired, which affects your stamina. It's kind of like a micromanagement game, but with the risk of a game over. Oh, that looks interesting, doesn't it? Why would a bar at the bottom be called Doom? Well, it's essentially a percentage timer. That Doom meter is how long you have before whichever old god you got stuck with obliterates your known existence. It's great. The times I didn't die and made it back to the town weren't much better either. Whatever evils lurked about in my journey began to follow me home. Riots would break out in the streets, I would see creepy figures standing outside my apartment just watching me, not doing anything, just watching. Nowhere felt safe. It gave me a feeling of no hope. The odds are clearly stacked against you, and you definitely feel like that. World of Horror is 100% against you. It desperately wants to test your mettle by throwing random effects your way, tough enemies like ghosts which you can't attack with basic weaponry, stuff like that. Couple this with the stressful essence of time not on your side, and you'll find yourself cracking open a cold beer to enjoy with your playthrough. You begin to ask yourself, is there actually any hope? Well, surprisingly, yes there is, but it's no easy hill to climb. You have to complete these stories in order to get these keys delivered to you in your mailbox. You then use these keys on the several locks barring you entrance to the lighthouse. And what's in that lighthouse, you ask? Well, that'll be left up to you to find out. I won't be spoiling any major points at all in this video, so rest assured. Just random events in my playthrough of my randomized adventure. Speaking of said adventure, during my playthrough I ran into some interesting characters. Most of the people you meet in the game are kinda throwaway. They don't really matter or relate to the mystery really, they just kinda hang out. Sometimes you can recruit people to help you by force or by choice, and sometimes you run into some oddly familiar faces like The Rock? Resembling his old picture of him rocking the fanny pack? I've come across a bunch of oddities like this, like a dog running a shop. Why is he running the shop? Who knows? I mean, who cares? Let him do his thing. I recently mentioned that World of Horror is heavily inspired by the horror manga artist Junji Ito. Junji Ito is known for his grotesque and horrifying art. No one quite does it like him. So if it's so heavily inspired, is World of Horror actually scary? No, it's not. If anything, World of Horror is a slow-burning psychological point-and-click thriller. Is that bad? No, definitely not. But don't expect to be kept up all night by the visuals. Some enemies do look creepy, yes, but after staring at their static image on screen for 5 minutes while you try to figure out how to kill them, the terror wears off quickly. The Rock really doesn't help either. Another issue is the layout of everything. It's all kinda just jammed together on the bottom of the screen, and while it wasn't resulting in the game feeling unplayable, it was annoying to navigate at times when you, let's say for example, are about to die. A small nitpick to me, but your mileage may vary. I guess it was hard to talk about World of Horror because I couldn't sum up how I felt about it. I thought the setup of the mysteries were good, but the pacing was sometimes off. I liked the little humorous things like previously mentioned, but I don't think they fit well in the game. It kinda just kept throwing me off. Was I supposed to be scared? Was I supposed to laugh? Does the developer even know themselves? Who knows? Will we ever know? Probably not. Does it even matter? In a game like this, I think if you like exploration and uncovering well-written mysteries and trying to solve them against a clock of impending doom, no, I don't think it does, because at the very least, you will find that here. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw here, consider subscribing and liking this video to let me know how I did. Also, thank you to our patrons. They are literally the best.